Welcome back to another episode on the RX-7, and I hope you guys enjoyed the little break from all the RX-7 content. In this episode, we're going to be taking the RX-7 for its first cruise down to Raceonly for a run in June. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have driven the car around the block and yeah, just around the neighborhood, and I also got roped into a last-minute cruise to Ben's Cafe, which was really cool. But apart from that, this is going to be a first cruise because Raceonly is about 54 k's from my house. I'm not going to bring any spare parts, not going to bring any fluids. If anything goes wrong, straight into a tow truck. I'm not going to risk it. So I've been pretty sick in the past 2 weeks, but amongst all that, I managed to get the car as complete as I can. Yeah, just needs a really good detail and wash. But I'm just loving all the bility goodness in the engine bay. The only thing I'd change is getting a catch can properly mounted up. That's just a Mount Franklin bottle zip tied out of the way. And that's just a little catch can for now. I'm running it off my sweet Raceonly oil filler neck. But yeah, nothing else I would change. I'm actually loving this setup. So I've avoided driving the car up until this point because the tune is still a bit rich, especially when it's cold. When it's warm, it's pretty good. It cruises very well when it's warm. But what actually happened was I kept fouling the plugs and then flooding the motor. I actually did that 3 times. So I've got a brand new set of plugs in there and we should be good today. All right, without holding Omar up, I'm gonna make my way down to Raceonly. Wish me luck and hopefully we'll get there. First crank. I'm armed with nothing but my laptop. Just gonna keep an eye on everything. Gonna load up the HSP software. I feel sorry for my neighbors. They're just watching me. Yeah, they're all right, they're all right. Give him a wave. Just drove past the highway patrol. I don't know if he's done a UE. I saw his lights on, so hopefully he hasn't done a UE. I'm just trying to get out of here quickly because I don't want to lurk around if highway patrol's here. The car is excessively loud. I really need an exhaust on it, a proper exhaust. I'll let you listen. It's loud. Whew. I've just been in traffic for 10 minutes and I haven't seen my coolant temps above 88, which is around where my fans are set at. So I've set the fans at 87. Haven't actually seen 90s, which is great. It's really good. We're just queuing up to get onto Penn Hills Road. And I'm gonna jump onto the M2, gonna jump on the M7, and then I think it's the M5 or the M1, down to Ingleburn. I'm so tempted to do a pull on this ramp. No, I won't. I shouldn't. Anyways, I am loving this G-Racing shifter. It's so precise. Just bang, straight into gear. All right. I'm gonna focus on driving. I'll see you guys down there. Yeah, we're in Ingleburn now. About to pull into Raceonly. Cruising down the highway. That was a whole quarter tank, 20 litres of fuel. Yeah, I've got 3/4 left, but it'll be enough for the chin. Might have to fill up on the way home. He's never gonna get old. All right, we made it. We're down at Raceonly, and yeah, Emma's just backed the car onto the dyno. Say hello, everyone.
Howdy, sir.
Hey, Emma. Yeah, Legend has been helping me out the whole process, so I'm just stoked to have it on the dyno. You know, it's been a good amount of time. When I got out of the car, there was a bit of a smouldering kind of smell, but we can't really see what it is. Could be just from the exhaust. I know the muffler is burnt out in this exhaust, so it does need attention. But we made it down here, and the car ran great. Right now we're just getting set up, and I'm gonna let Omar do his thing. Yeah, just I thought it'd be a good idea to just chat about what the difference is between the running tune is and the final tune. Right now it's only running 8 pound gate pressure, but I'm sure there's a few different changes. So I'm gonna let the expert Omar chat to us about it.
Okay, so running tune versus a normal tune. Look, really there isn't a massive difference. So most of the time when we're talking different tunes, running tune is usually just much more conservative. So we have to keep in mind rotary engines are different to a piston engine in the sense that when they're new, they don't make as much compression, and they actually take a while to make all the compression they need to make.
Sure.
So we can't use a lot of timing to make power. We can't run lean. Like you have to be very, very conservative with fuel and conservative with ignition timing till you've got a full seal. And that usually, I mean, depending on the apex seal, so we've got OEMs in this one. So OEM seals, we don't see full compression to roughly around 3,000 kilometers.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we also tend to find if you put power in the engine before it's made all the compression it's going to make, it doesn't make any more past that point.
Okay.
Okay. So, like, if we put power in this engine now, it's not going to explode. It'll work. So if it's making 90 psi of compression right now, then that's what it's going to stay as. Okay, so we want to try and make the engine get as much compression as it can get before we put lots of power in it. Because you have to remember, like the surface on a rotor housing is quite an odd shape. It's not like a cylindrical bore where you can get a perfect circle. It's not like that at all. So we have to work much harder to get a good seal compared to other engines.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much the main difference. So again, we're not going to be putting massive amounts of power. So like you said, it's 8 pound of gate pressure and probably do maybe 5,500 RPM, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you say compared to a piston engine, definitely the rotary engines need a lot more of a run in?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, I've had engines where, you know, we can't run them in. You know, they're a drag racing engine, or it's there's just the application doesn't allow for you to run it in. You can put power in them straight away. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that type of engine is a short span engine. It's not a long span engine.
Sure.
So you know, in a drag race engine, you're not going to run it in. But in the same token, that engine isn't going to be in there for 10 years, let alone even a year.
Yeah.
It'll be a couple of months. Do 20, 30 hits, pull it out, freshen it up, and go again.
So in other words, we want to run in the engine as long as we can to build maximum compression, and then we can start adding power.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
No
Thanks
worries.
for that. Congrats on the FD. Norman finally got one.
Yeah, I finally got one.
Yeah, but that means he's not going to case up an RX-8, which is
No, I'm still case off the RX-8.
Oh, yeah?
Rotary first.
Yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, sweet.
That's gonna get a hybrid engine.
Oh, okay. horsepowers. Saying to Omar that just sounds like it gets on boost so much faster.
Yeah.
Ready to boogie.
The Bridgeport makes a massive difference to spool. Like you can see pretty much as soon as I like on the throttle, we haven't even started climbing. We're making 5 pounds of boost, and as soon as I let go of the throttle, it's on 10 pounds of boost. It's pretty much instantaneous.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. I'm gonna feel it instantly.
Very, 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 very good.
Never made 195, even with the old engine.
I think we're pretty close.
Yeah,
it's looking really good.
It's getting hot there.
I always like to check this area because this is common.
Yeah.
Whenever you have, even with the low mounts, you still get quite a bit of heat up here.
Yeah. I also have a feeling there's a exhaust leak coming from that joint. So, yeah.
Because we've trimmed out so much fuel, we're going to have a lot more exhaust temperature here than we did before.
Yep.
So I just trying to get a gauge for it.
Yeah. Cool.
It's something you have to keep an eye on the way home.
Okay.
Because this might get hotter than it did before.
Sure.
So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. How's the tuning been going? Have you had to do much?
It's been going really well. Yeah, like I haven't had to do anything out of the ordinary.
That's great.
It's doing all the right things for sure. It's actually, I mean, we're using the Elite 1500, so it's really easy when you have the wideband in place. I don't have to manually try and chase the cell. It's got a quick tune function that you can automatically target most of the cells. So excellent. I look at the average and subtract if you like.
Quick maths.
So it is quick maths.
Quick maths.
So going really, really well. Very happy with it.
They don't go well. I've had bad dyno tuning sessions before.
This is a good one.
So this has been a good one.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
I think you did a good job on the assembly.
Oh, I think you guys did a great job on the motor.
This is going
makes
really
so much
good.
difference. I was talking to my mate the other day. It just makes so much difference when you take your time with it. You know, this hasn't been as fast as I wanted, but I've had time.
Yeah.
And
you did it right. Like I mean,
haven't had to hurry anything.
Yeah. I think you addressed all the major issues you had with the last system. I mean, the cooling system is a big one. So.
Yeah.
Just as a food for thought, we're at maximum duty cycle on the primary injectors and 60% duty cycle at 5,000 RPM on the secondaries.
5,000 RPM.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So those injectors.
Bridgeport
it loves fuel.
Loves the fuel.
It loves the fuel.
Yeah.
So why you really need an injector upgrade as soon as you do an engine like this?
Yep.
It's just not going to cut it.
What do you think? What injector do you reckon?
So I think for a pump fuel car, at around a 400 horsepower level, a 1700cc injectors are pretty good choice. You can go to a 2600 if you want headroom or if you want the option to go to an E85 later on. So it'll be one of those two in my mind. If it's a street port or a standard engine, I'll usually do a 1700. If it's a Bridgeport, probably do the 2600. Just because most of the guys with Bridgeports will tend to go E85, and the 2600 is a great injector for E85 as well. So
while we're talking about that, he's been pushing me to the IDX, and maybe tell me why you like the IDX.
Okay, so I actually resisted using IDXs for years. I personally couldn't justify the costs because they're like almost triple the price of a Bosch injector.
Yep.
And I persisted with lots of the Bosch choices that are around. We had the 2200cc, the 1650cc, and the reliability we've had since we've switched to the IDX injectors, it's night and day. I had one car that we actually heard an engine on with Bosch 2200s. We couldn't figure out why we actually damaged that engine. And when we pulled the engine down, it had one rotor with 3 damaged apex seals. And
Was that from detonation?
well, that's the thing. We couldn't hear it detonate. We couldn't see anything on the ECU that indicated detonation. Mixture was really rich, so there was no reason for that rotor to have failed. We did put EGTs on that car eventually, and we could see that rotor was getting really hot.
Oh, I see.
Okay. And the thing is, we had just had the injectors flowed as well, so it didn't really make sense. I finally kind of said to myself, you know what? We just broke an engine for no reason. We're going to fork out the money for the injectors. It works, great. It doesn't work, then we tried and we possibly learned something. So all we changed on this car after fixing the engine is just injectors, and EGTs straight away. They were almost bang on, maybe 10-degree difference, and that engine still lives till now.
Yeah.
Okay, and ever since that car, I would never look back. It is night and day. So
I think I need to consider before I met Omar, I went and bought myself those 2200s. So yeah.
Look,
They're gas injectors.
They're a gas injector. Look, I will say, like, we had some cars that were successful with those injectors, and then we had cars that weren't. And that's the thing. It's the consistency that's the difference.
Yeah.
So you can grab, say a pack of 16 2200cc injectors, and you might find you can make a couple of batches of, say, 2 or 4 injectors that are the same.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that they're the same if you just took them out of the packet and put them in.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, there aren't many guys in the country who have good injector test benches, good enough to be able to, flow test to that sort of degree. Like Injector Dynamics, they basically give you injectors that are 1%, within 1% of each other. And they don't just test it at one range, they dynamically test those injectors. So they test them at different pressures and so on. So you're paying for somebody to go through and make sure that every injector you get is pretty much the exact same as the other injector you're getting. And at the end of the day, we always talk about the rotary being unreliable. It isn't unreliable, it just wants fuel. And if you take away the fuel, they get unhappy. It really, really is as simple as that.
Guess there's no point wasting this whole brand new engine on a $100 injector.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna go to IDX. Convinced.
I'm sure you won't regret it, sir.
Yeah. We're just having a quick chat about tuning rotaries, and Omar was just saying how his past few years has been excellent for tuning on his side of things. I'll let him explain.
I guess to start off with, I mean, for us, like I said, if I wind the clock back a couple of years, we didn't have repeatability. We had so many scenarios where we'd build the same combo and not get the same result. And all the little things that we've changed along the way, we've kind of gotten to a point now where I can walk into a dyno session and I know exactly what power we're going to make, and I know that the engine will live. There is very little doubt in my mind that we'll have any issues whatsoever, and that is purely down to the fact that I guess we now use components I'm very confident with, both engine and outside of engine. Yeah. And it makes the world of difference. Yeah. Like I said to you before, off camera, I literally used to go into a dyno session with so much anxiety, and it's just not a thing anymore. You just know that this combo will do this, and it'll always do that.
It's done so well today. I was just thinking, we probably won't be going to the G35 that quickly. Actually, the G30 after seeing Omar's post, but we'll see. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
This has been a very good session.
Yeah, definitely
huge thanks
positive.
to Omar. This couldn't be possible without the help of Omar, my friends, my family, and I'm just very happy, very blessed to have people around me. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.